Yeah, and another thing is like just to go more into detail about the racial issues. White people are just as fucked over as black people. Let's be honest, they are. And the reason why is because y'all are getting played real bad. Like black people have gotten played, been through the ringer many, many times, and still continue to be played to this day. If this is why knowledge is important. If you know knowledge, you won't get played. If you know something, you won't get played. If you don't know nothing, you're gonna get played. Empathy is being frowned upon these days, and empathy is needed in order to break race. And so, in order to break sexism, this is what original feminism was about. It wasn't about giving women power. I mean, it was about that, but it was also about taking down the patriarchy and putting men and women on equal human terms. Human terms. You feel me? This is why sex should not be so talked about, so detailed about. Roles and gender roles shouldn't be talked about, so detailed about. You know what I'm saying? It just is all pointless. Like humans need to express themselves no matter what they are. And so, expressionism is important, especially self-expressionism without pride. Patriarchy rewards pride within men and pride within women. Because if you can give roles to men and women and they can live up to those roles really well, they get rewarded with like shit, with a good job from the system and shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's easier for you to be in place. You get rewarded with feeling complacent, basically. You get rewarded with feeling like you belong. It's a sense of community within the whole matrix of it all. It's like a sense of community within it. If you think the same as other people, and they all agree that man ain't shit or woman ain't shit. Men talk with other men about how men ain't shit. Women talk with other women about how women ain't shit. And you feel like you're in a community. You could talk about, but this brings more. This is why you could talk about transgender so much, which is ridiculous. This is why you could talk about gay people so much, which is ridiculous. Why you could talk about bisexual people, pansexual people. You know what I'm saying? Anything with fluidity is looked down upon. We are in a rigid society, and this is why polychromatic ways of viewing time and monochromatic ways of viewing time is so important. Like, just to know those differences is even important. Like, to be in a polychromatic way of society of time and society, that means is that you view time as fluid, which means that you see it as being man-made. Once you see time as being man-made and something that doesn't truly exist, that shit opens doors for you, man. You start viewing the world a lot differently because you realize that no matter what time you say it is, the earth's still gonna spin, the planet's still gonna move. It really doesn't matter. Time does not matter. You travel across space and time changes and warps. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go into a black hole and time suddenly just doesn't exist. It doesn't matter. So it makes you wonder, like, what is time for real? Something that's just all in our hands. It doesn't really exist. And so when you bring in that type of fluidity to life, you can't really hate on the transgender. You can't hate on the gay person, on the queer person. You can't hate on a black person that's not being a stereotypical black person, or a white person that's not being a stereotypical white person, or an Asian person that's not being a stereotypical Asian person, right? Because all these stereotypes are just rigid ways of thinking, just like how we view time. You know what I'm saying? And so, I don't know. Knowing those types of things, like, you start viewing things differently. Like, everything is just so fluid. Reality isn't as rigid as we think we are. Just because the concrete is hard doesn't mean that it's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but for real though, like, you could jump in the water from and you could jump into a pool and then boom, you're gonna go right through it. Like, splash and see all the bubbles. You know what I'm saying? You jump a little higher, go a little higher. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna make a bigger splash. You're gonna hear a smack too, a little bit of a smack, or you're gonna hear like a, you know what I'm saying? Like, kind of a pop, right? You go like from a fucking plane or something. You jump in the water. Once you land on the water, that shit gonna break the fucking body, no matter how you land on it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the water is hard, or it can be soft. Concrete can feel good and hard, or it can feel kind of cushiony and soft, depending on how you view it. Shit, it may like kind of makes sense when you think about how earlier humans used to, you know what I'm saying, like sleep on the concrete and shit all the time. Cavemen, I suppose. I mean, it doesn't even have to be cavemen. A lot of early humans used to just sleep on the floor, sleep on the ground. That's good for your body too if you sleep on the ground. It straightens your back out. I've done it personally myself. It feels really good. You know, not saying you got to sleep on the concrete, but I'm just saying like, you know, just to know that the reality in which you live in isn't actually a valid reality or a fluid reality in which all things can exist. I mean, that's a miserable existence, right? To know that that's not the case, and that's what we all think. So that's why a lot of us are miserable, especially in America. But when you enter another type of culture, you enter it, and everything is a lot more fluid. The men can be feminine, the woman can be masculine and not be judged. The men can dress like women, and the woman can dress like men. And you know what I'm saying? Like Christianity says that this is all wrong, but gay people have existed in ancient times, especially in Africa, with a lot of black people. I forgot what the term was for them, but they existed. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was like a thing. That gay marriages have been a thing. To argue that about gay marriages was fucking ridiculous in the first place, right? I don't know. It's just silly. All this shit is silly. Like, we're arguing about shit that's pointless. You view so much more for the earth, and you can see the places that human beings could go to, and then you see the shit that we argue about, and it's just like, come on now, this is little kid shit. Like, this is the type of shit niggas will argue about in middle school. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you get older and you find a way to make it sound more sophisticated and more smart. Like, oh, women act like this and men act like this. And now you have experience within your life to confirm those beliefs. And now that is your reality. That's your perception of the world. Now that's most people's perceptions of the world. Now you have no empathy for the opposite gender, for empathy for a person of another race, of another culture. You know what I'm saying? You don't understand or comprehend the languages, so you write it off as something that doesn't matter, as something that's nonsense. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. But you don't understand the language that's being said. You know, if you're with a friend group and they tell a lot of like dark humor jokes, you're gonna like look at them as bad and see, oh man, they really suck. If that's what that friend group does, then like, and they've been doing that, and there's no real pain between them, well, how would you judge that friend group when they don't even give a fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, does it really matter? Does it do anything to help you? No, not really. So what's the point of judging, right? It's because you live in this rigid reality of language and how people say things and the things that people should and shouldn't joke about, right? And it's understandable that you live in that reality because of the way that you were brought up. But once you get to a certain point in your life, you need to know that this reality is not the only one that exists. And that is the problem with most human beings. They don't evolve past the OG reality that they came up in. You know what I'm saying? The OG way of living. The OG way of like, or how their culture was at the time. This is why cultures don't evolve. Because this is how it's supposed to be. But in actuality, your culture should have evolved a long time ago. Black Americans would have evolved if they wouldn't be brought down so much, right? You know what I'm saying? But we've come to a point where we should know this is knowledge. Like, Black Americans this isn't knowledge though. And this is what happens when you keep knowledge down. This is what happens when you don't know anything about history or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's always some things you don't know, but to deliberately decide not to teach yourself about these things is the issue. So the issue with a lot of people, a lot of folks, they don't teach themselves these things, and they decide to be ignorant nowadays, and it's ridiculous. Why would you decide to be ignorant? You're doing yourself a terrible job, a terrible deed. You're making your brain more susceptible. I don't even know the word. I can't pronounce the word. You're making your brain more easy to get control. You feel me? You're making it more easy for your brain to you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, don't do that. Like, you don't know none, and now people can come in and put information within your brain, and then you believe it, but then you don't believe no other information that nobody told you, even though that's the right information. The information that you were told originally was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So now you have the wrong information in your brain. It's like trying to learn how to fight by yourself. You can't learn how to box and fight by yourself because, yeah, you might get like the techniques a little bit, like not the techniques. You might get the you know what I'm saying? Maybe you might get the stance right. You know what I'm saying? You might get but there's always going to be something that's going to be off the way. You might throw the punch. You might throw the punch with force and power, but you throwing it wrong. You might throw the punch right, but you ain't got no force and power. You feel me? Like, you know, like you can't. It's like, and then you bring that to an argument. If you argue with somebody that really know facts, or debate with somebody that really know facts, you gonna get your shit toe up. But if you really stupid and dumb, and you got a lot of pride, which the patriarchy rewards, and the patriarchy takes a great part in humans' pride these days. It's not just men. It's not just men. It's children too. You know what I'm saying? The patriarchy rewards pride, and that's a big problem. Pride is one of the biggest sins, right? And so it's just like, if you got a lot of pride, racism rewards that too, and you gonna go ahead, get yourself into an argument, and you're gonna be wrong as fuck, and then you're gonna be confident as fuck about you being right when you wrong as hell. You know what I'm saying? That the truth is that you wrong, and you confident that you right, boy, you're gonna be confident in the fact that you wrong, and now you're gonna really be looking stupid. You know what I'm saying? It's really sad. Like, that's crazy, and that's exactly where most humans are at these days. I wish I had a different phone. My shit always finna die quick, man. Gotta take it off. But like, yeah, that's my thoughts.